Hey gang, AB here, and welcome to my review of the G.I. Joe 30th Anniversary Cobra Crimson Hiss Tank, which includes the Cobra Crimson Horseman action figure. Here it is in the box. This is an older toy. I got this at a comic book store recently. That price sticker was actually put on there by them. It only cost me $20. I have a few others, but I haven't opened it yet, and I decided to open this one because it has a busted, well, the tape is removed, so it's already been opened. Let's have a look at the box first before we see what's inside. Here is the front of the box. I love the original artwork that they used to put on all these packages. I loved this line when it was new. I absolutely loved it. You can see the figure inside the window here with a piece of artwork of the figure itself, a close-up. It gives you the impression that there is a action feature associated with this toy. Here's the front of the box. There's the top of the box. The side. The other side, which I'll have to turn sideways so I can get it in frame there. Here's the bottom with some other products available. And finally, here's the back, which has a product shot, an actual photo of the item itself. Shows you some of the play features here on the side, which include opening front canopy, opening rear cockpit, and it elevates and swivels 360 degrees. Let me see, how am I going to do the bio? I may actually have to read it to you because I don't think I'll be able to get it up in front of the camera. So, speed, armor, destruction. That's the Cobra Crimson Hiss tank. The chassis elevates and rotates 360 degrees to expand visual range and shut down any surprise attacks. Force field mine packs detonate to disintegrate incoming missiles, or can create a blast wave that stuns anything in its path. It's got spinning Gatling gun, firing cannon, interchangeable weapons, working treads, and of course the action figure. So that's it for the packaging. It's also 30th anniversary, like I said. There was one that came out with the Pursuit of Cobra line, but that one was black. So anyway, here is, that's it for the box. Let's open it up and see what we got inside. Fool you. I already took it out. I already applied the stickers, put it together, and everything else. So, no worries there. It's actually, everything's okay. But I still got to cut the figure out, so let's do that right now. We'll have a look at the figure first, since the main highlight of this video is the tank. And right now, the figure is more of an accessory. Oh, how tables have turned. Alright, so let's get all the rubber band stuff off of him. Throw that off to the side there. Come on. Alright. Get rid of the box. Adjust my lights. And here he is. Very cool figure. I believe this is the same mold that they used for the Desert Duel 50th anniversary 2-pack that came out. Not 2-pack figures, but a 2-pack of vehicles. Came with a repainted Snowcat and Striker. It's a cool figure. He does have some accessories, which I'll get to in a minute. But he's got a very creative looking head there with a Cobra emblem right over his visor. I'm not sure how he's supposed to see with that, but hey. The vest does kind of hinder his articulation a little bit, but you can, as you can see, you can still get his waist going. So he does have a ball joint in there. All right, so let's do his articulation. Head will do a full 360, can look down and up. Arms can do a full 360. Up about that high at the shoulder. Nothing at the bicep. Rotates at the elbow. Can bend almost 90 degrees up and flatten out. There is a rotation at the wrist. He does have a ball joint at the abs, as I showed you a second ago. His legs can go out about that far. He can do the can about like that. He's got a double jointed knee. So he can bring his heel back about that far. And he's got ankle rotation. And he can pivot his heel back that far and toes forward about that far. So, very good articulation. This is back when this line was at its heyday, and they were actually producing some very quality stuff. Even the vehicles had top-notch figures. All right, so cool figure. Let's stick him out that way. I apologize that he's so far away, but I need the extra room to do the tank. He does come with a file card, which you may notice is considerably smaller than a standard file card. But I'm glad they include it, and if you'd like to read it, you may pause the video and do so now. Very happy that they include these, as always. I promised to show off his accessories, so before I get too ahead of myself, I'll do that right now. He does come with a figure base, figure stand. It's got the Cobra emblem on there, 2 foot pegs. It says Crimson Horseman right there on the front. As you can see, he stands up perfectly fine without the stand, but since we've got one, we're going to include it and show that off. He also comes with a gun, which is right here. It's pretty cool. Looks like it's got a little grenade launcher on the front there. I believe that's what that is. Banana clip, sight. I'm learning. I'm not much of a gun enthusiast, but you pick up a few things by buying these action figures. So. And he can hold that in his hand pretty nicely, as you can see. The tank also includes this instruction sheet, which I will be referencing throughout the course of this review for reasons which will become apparent very soon. And his sticker sheet, which comes with quite a lot of extra letters and numbers so that you can give your tank its whatever designation you want, basically. And if you get multiples of these, it'll just increase your options. So very cool. I like the fact that I love when they give you more than you absolutely have to have. You know what I mean? I like having options. It's just me. All right, and now, without further ado, let's get the star of the show in here. Oops. Drop that thing off of there. There we go. Here he is. The Crimson Hiss tank. Modern Crimson Hiss tank. As you can see, it's pretty badass. It does have working rubber treads. A chin gun that rotates but does not pivot up and down. an opening cockpit with a articulated yoke in there. It has a rear cockpit underneath here for access of a figure as well. It has this button which allows you to pivot the guns left and right by sliding it back and forth, and you push this button up top, raises the whole chassis and enables you to rotate it 360 degrees. Very cool. I love this thing. I absolutely love this. This has everything in it that I've ever wanted in a HISS tank. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Again, it's got loads of options. It has real working treads, which is something that I personally like a lot. Oh, and it also has a firing cannon, which I don't want to go all over the basement, so I'll just fire it like that. And there's a spindle right here so you can rotate the Gatling gun barrel. But as I was saying, I love this thing. Absolutely love it. It actually has armor to protect the driver and gunner, because the gunner's inside the chassis as well, so it's protected by the armor, and that's the whole purpose of a tank. I think that's awesome. They've really knocked it out of the park with this thing. I absolutely love it. Now, just the brief time that this has been on the video, these things keep falling off. Now, what these are little backpacks. Now, the backpack does fit on the figure. Pegs in. Oops, come on now. Don't make a liar out of me. His coat's in the way. Come on, get in there. So it does peg on the figure. It does open up with some storage area in there, which is very cool. And it has removable mines, which peg onto this either side of the backpack. Came with 2 of these. And you may have noticed I had them rather loosely attached via here to the HISS tank, just because I liked the way it looked on there. But as you can see, it wasn't really that secure in that particular spot. But that's not the only place you can put these things. There are holes here, so you can have it on the treads. There is a hole here. There's a hole here. And not only are these holes mirrored on the other side, so you can have matching on both sides, but there is also one more underneath here. I think that's awesome. So you can have one on the figure and one on the tank, or you could just have that mounted on the tank as it's rolling around. You do this with other modern era backpacks. I think that's a great feature. It's something that you frequently see on tanks in general. You know, soldiers store their gear on the tank. Why carry it if you don't have to? So I think that's great, and it helps make this a little bit more customizable too. You can make it look a little bit more unique next to the other HISS tanks that you may collect. So I really like that feature a lot, and I will be displaying mine using that. The front canopy, I gave you a brief look at it, but it does have some nice molded detail inside there. The rear gunner station, not so much. Most of the detail is just on the seat that the figure goes into. And this does pivot up, although mine is a little uncooperative. There we go. There's really nothing going on in there, unfortunately. Let's see how he fits in there. Gotta show off the figure and everything. I believe he goes in like that. Or not. Gotta bend his knees. There you go. Clips in just like that. Pretty cool. Let's go around to the front. Fits in there nice too. Cool. That does have a tendency to fall off when you push it, put it a little too far. It just unclips. Clips right back in, no big deal. Alright. The treads move pretty good. You just have to be careful not to apply too much pressure when you push down, because these things do have a tendency to actually get in the way. So make sure you put a lot of your pressure in the front of the tank when you try to roll it. But as you can see, treads work really nice. There is one more feature I have to talk about before I get on to my gripes. And yes, I do have gripes. Right here, these two tabs are so that you can actually attach the Hiss Scout to the back and carry them both into battle using this line of treads here. It won't touch the ground after you do that, from what I understand. I would demonstrate it for you, but I don't have one. I do have the Tread Ripper, which was the G.I. Joe version, but that has a canopy on it, and I don't think it's going to fit on there with the canopy or look right. But that is what those two tabs in the back are for. Okay, so anyway, my gripes. Mostly my gripes have to do with the instruction sheet. Right here. Let's just have a close look at the instruction sheet, shall we? So, basic assembly. With the features here. Sticker application. And how to load the figure. At no point does this mention at all the Hiss Sentry and why those tabs are there. I actually had to ask online to figure that out, because I couldn't figure it out either without the Sentry in my possession to try it with. So I had to ask for not only what it did, but for confirmation that it actually worked. Besides that, though, the instructions fall very short with the actual sticker application. They are not very precise at all, and some of them just don't make any sense. Like, for example, if you look up here, this is the underside of the tank, and you have a computer readout sticker being stuck to the bottom of the tank where that door is to put the figure. So that's basically where that ended up, and that's the view screen that he's supposed to be able to look at when he's sitting inside the damn thing. And unfortunately, you know, Now, let me get this open. When you look at it inside, there's no way to attach it inside, so you can't even put it where it's supposed to go. There's nowhere for it to go up there. If you look, there's no flat surface enough for you to actually put it on there. You may think that it goes there, but that black piece you actually see in there moves around when you use the action feature to actually lift the thing up and down. That moves up and down too. So if you tried to put a sticker on that one flat space inside the tank, it's gonna fall off or get in the way of the action feature. So it obviously doesn't go there. And then, just to make matters worse, when you look at the back when you look at the back door again from the other angle, like straight on this way, and then you look at this picture, it says you're supposed to put the Cobra emblem right on the door there. And obviously, what, are you supposed to put the sticker on top of the other sticker? It makes no sense at all. These instructions were very confusing, not very well thought out, and they didn't give you all the information that you needed to actually assemble the damn thing. That is my main gripe, is with the instructions. The toy itself is fantastic. But just be on the lookout for when you buy one on the aftermarket. I mean, you have to be a little bit forgiving for the stickers, because I guarantee you there are probably no two of these are alike out there, because there's no definitive way to place some of these stickers. It's very vague with the placement of these things. And what I also demonstrated with the backpacks, that was not explained either. At first, when I first opened it, I was under the impression that they gave me an extra one by accident. I had no idea that it was meant to be stowed on the tank until I started messing around with it, and I happened to notice all these ports all over the place. So anyway, let's do size comparisons now. Before I get too ahead of myself, keep the tank in the background. Let's do the figures first. This is, of course, the Crimson Horseman, which came with the Crimson tank. Crimson his tank. That's him standing right next to the tank, so you can see how he measures up to it. And here is a vintage G.I. Joe, 3 3/4 inch. So you can see how he measures up to both the tank and the modern figure. Modern figure is clearly larger than him. And this guy would have no trouble fitting inside there too, in case you were curious. Now, we can't talk about the modern his tank without comparing it to other his tanks. So, here it is, next to the vintage original. Trying to do a decent comparison here, but it's tough because my camera angle isn't the greatest. So just bear with me here. I hope I'm giving you a general impression of how they measure up together. I think they measure up nice. But while I have the two of them here, you can clearly see my gripes with the original. Is that the pilot has a glass canopy, which can be punctured by enemy fire, and if you take out the driver, then you know the tank is worthless. And the gunner has no protection at all, so if you take out the gunner, then you can't very well shoot at the bad guys, so, or the good guys in this case. So it's an armored vehicle, and the armor doesn't benefit anybody on it. Even the tail section where you have the foot pegs for the people to stand, It's an armored vehicle, and the armor doesn't protect any of its passengers. My biggest gripe with the original, and this one solves all of that. Here is the Hiss 2, which is a massive tank in its own right compared to the other. And as you can see, since we're on the subject, the Hiss 2 has the same problems as the Hiss 1. It's very reminiscent to the original, and it has its own strong suits as well, such as the crew capacity that goes in the side there, the more firepower, the two-man cockpit. But at the same token, you know, it's got a glass canopy, and the gunner is exposed. So, again, it's a flaw in the design, but still, cool tank nonetheless. All in all, I think this is probably, in my opinion, and I would probably be chastised for saying this a little bit, this is the best version of the Hiss tank that you can get, in my personal opinion. Maybe if you don't want the crimson one, you can seek out the black one that came with the Pursuit of Cobra line. It's the same exact mold and looks just as impressive. But as far as tanks go, enemy tanks go especially, this is clearly your go-to. This is the one that you should look for, in my opinion, because it's got the real working treads. It's got the pilot and the gunner stations. It has the play features that make sense. All the passenger capacity is actually protected by the armor. I can't stress that enough, how that just makes it actually function properly as a tank. And it's just awesome looking, you have to admit. It was actually brought to my attention recently that the front area is styled after the head of a snake, and these are reminiscent of its licking forked tongue. Never quite saw that before, but after it was mentioned to me, I can kind of see it now. It's got some very nice molded details on either side. And the customizer in me, quite frankly, thinks that this would benefit a lot from a heavy black wash to get into all those nooks and crannies and bring out all that molded detail. So the next one I open, I just very well may do that. But anyhow, this has been AV. This has been my review of the Crimson Hiss tank from the 30th anniversary G.I. Joe toy line, with all of its bells and whistles and a handful of gripes about the instructions. I hope this was educational for you. I hope you learned something. Even if you have this vehicle already, I hope I was able to point out something that you may have missed. If I missed anything, please feel free to post it in the comments section. I want all my viewers to know that I am not perfect. I make mistakes, and I'm here to learn just as much as you guys. So please, if I missed something, let me know. Anyhow, if you like this video, check out my channel. If you like what you see there, then please subscribe. As always, thanks for watching.